Stop. Okay, hello, good morning. I am recording this for our speech and debate class. My name is Monique Ahmed. I'm here with my classmate, Letitia.
Hi, I'm here.
Our topic today is how the United States federal government should substantially increase prohibition of the development and or use of artificial intelligence in one or more of the following areas, being law enforcement, automation, and privacy. So we took down a few notes and we are going to start our debate. So I am on the affirmative side, so I'll go ahead and start it off. So I'm just looking at my phone, because I jotted down a few notes. Um, so I believe that the federal government definitely should have some type of increase on prohibiting the use of AI. um, Specifically because I believe the government has an obligation to defend people's rights, especially from certain technologies that are enabling to discrimination or surveillance or privacy to anyone. Um, I think facial recognition is a huge part of that technology, that can be discriminating and dangerous for society. Facial recognition technology, also known as FRT, is inheritably biased, com particularly against colored people or people that are of a darker skin tone. The MIT Media Lab found that commercial FRT systems misidentify colored people, specifically women, up to 34.7% of the time, compared to less than 1% of white men or women. These disparities are not abstract. They've already resulted in many wrongful arrests. According to the ACLU, law enforcement agencies have used FRT to arrest many innocent people based solely on the algorithm errors that they found in just facial recognitions, um, wrongfully just discriminating against someone. And then allowing law enforcement to use FRT also entrenches the racial profiling that the criminal justice system already has, creating just irreversible harm, for that person that they're going against. One mistaken match can mean a lot of jail time, loss of employment, trauma, for these particular individuals, and those harms sometimes just can't be fixed. I just feel like the FRT violates privacies. It kind of makes for you can't have freedom of speech. Um, it allows for mass surveillance over Americans. And you don't have to have a warrant to do so.
Oh, excuse me.
According to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, law enforcement uses this type of technology at protests, airports, public spaces, just silently identifying and tracking people without their consent. That means anyone attending a protest, religious gathering, or public event can be logged in and monitored forever under this type of technology system. It's pretty chilling, if you're in participation with it. Uh, People are less likely to speak out about it if they know that they're being watched. Um, especially in controlled spaces or even in public ones. I just feel like people aren't going to speak out about something like that because a lot of people don't know their own laws, and it's such a new technology that a lot of people kind of don't know where it falls under. Um, the federal prohibition is necessary, uh, and the state bans just aren't enough. San Francisco, Boston, and other cities have already banned FRT, but federal agencies like the FBI, ICE is a big one right now, still use it very aggressively. Um, I feel like a federal prohibition against it is one of the only ways to protect Americans equally, opposed to only certain states uh, picking and choosing if they wanted prohibit it or not. Uh, Brookings, which is a reporting agency, they reported that without national action, a patchwork of regulations will allow abuse to persist, and um, and that urges federal governments to lead. A targeted federal ban restores public trust, ensures accountability, and protects civil liberties altogether. I feel like the U.S. government should prohibit the use of facial recognition technology, FRT, by the federal, state, local law enforcement agencies, and just as a whole, just so everyone could be on the same page. Like I said, just for it wouldn't be so just picky and choosy for only certain states to follow along in it. I think everyone should be able to do it. Um, I don't know how long that was.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Letitia Perkins. I will be on the negative side of the U.S. government should substantially increase prohibition of AI use and law enforcement, automation, or other private sectors. So I'm just gonna start with the few notes that I have, which is less than yours, but I'm here. Uh, so more bans, in my opinion, based on the evidence that I read, would not work for the simple fact that government still has the right to use them, whether we say ban them or don't ban them. So if they're out in the open, at least we'll know what's going on with that. Because if the threat is strong enough, Homeland Security definitely still uses it so that they can keep us safe. That's according to bookings in 2022. They came out with that, and like I said, Department of Homeland Security still gets the right to use it, whether it's banned or not. The FBI can still use it. ICE still uses it. So this way, if there's no ban on it, it'll be out there in the open. The data will be out there for us to go and put our input in and go back and put some go in and put some more regulations on it, but not banning it. We can also train us humans to use it more accurately and not to misuse it, but to use it to help us and keep us safe. New Orleans, the city of New Orleans, actually banned their AI, and then they had to bring it back because the crime rate got so bad once they dropped off and said, hey, we're not going to use it. It's too many flaws in it. They had to bring it back and use it. Just that was in 2022, according to CNN. They said that without it, it hurt public safety. And this shows that the bans could hurt public safety if it's not used properly. And now the technology is definitely improving. That's according to bookings as well. The FRT is 0.02% errors now. So they did go ahead and fix the issue of it, just saying that all black and brown people committed crimes. Basically, that's what it did. And they claimed that they fixed that. Um, let's see, that's according to bookings and also to CNN. The Federal Trade Commission just took action against Rite Aid for unfair biases. So they're definitely fixing it. Like I said again, it's 0.02% error now. So I feel like it should not be banned. It should just be regulated so that we know exactly what's going on.
Okay.
How much time was that?
I don't know, it's really hard to like keep track and also.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and start my first rebuttal.
Okay.
Um, so I just feel like this debate is more so how we use AI and not necessarily whether we use it. Um, I think banning the one dangerous application doesn't end the re-innovation of creating another in replacement. Um, I think that uh, America's just always, innovating and creating new technologies, whether that's new apps or, you know, new platforms for everyone to go off of. And they kind of mimic the last, of whatever was created. Um, so I feel like even by banning something, there's always going to be something new coming out. So um, just banning it as a whole would be better opposed to just certain platforms, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And I would just counter that with the fact that they are making a bunch of reforms currently. Like I said, New Orleans brought it back because because like without it, the crime was so bad. Like when we say ban AI, that would mean, hey, let's ban Google. We won't be able to find any restaurants, So we have to be very careful when we say, hey, let's just ban it. But I definitely believe that there should be some sort of not a ban, but oversight and retraining and more. Let's see, what's a good word? More inclusion and more inclusion in the new data entry that they put into AI so that everyone continues to be included and there are no mishaps and we can get rid of the biases. And again, that comes with just good people because if they ban it or don't, bad people will always find a way to do bad things. So definitely don't ban it, but reform it.
Um, I'm gonna cross that.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna add on to that by saying, I think banning it, I think builds a little bit of credibility. I think allies, especially for everything that America's going through right now, I think our allies are looking for just um, responsible people in the government that control AI a little more than others. According to Brookings, the US gains influence when it sets ethical norms, not when it races to deploy every tool without limits. I know that one big topic in this that has been brought up a lot in the evidence has been kind of a race against China. Um, and I don't think that America needs to necessarily catch up to China because they're so far ahead. It's like a race that we necessarily can't win against them. So I feel like banning it would be um, a safer aspect to it all rather than um, trying to race against certain technologies that we just can't compete against with other countries, especially with all that America's dealing with right now. Um, it kind of just sets a tone to, like I said, for in my past rebuttals, it kind of sets a tone to where it's okay for certain states, or certain states might feel like they need it more so than others. So it's not setting a clear platform for all of the US.
Okay, I am going to cross examine as well. You said China and how we can't necessarily catch up to them. Um, so if we ban AI, then we definitely will never even be able to compete, and we need to be able to compete at a comfortable level because they are so far ahead of us. So we need to be able to compete because the US is sadly falling down. We are last in just about everything. So that's why I feel like there needs to be more training on AI so that we can learn how to work hand in hand with the AI to bring our nation back up to speed with the rest of the world because everyone else is using the technology and we're here fighting over it being racist. So definitely reform, no ban.
Okay, I'm gonna start my rebuttal, my second rebuttal. Um, I feel like um, I feel like the case is I feel like our case is kind of targeted on banning as a whole, and not it's not necessarily an attack on AI, um, but it bans one high risk of it, of the use of it. So I feel like banning um, law enforcement facial recognition and not AI in general. But this is it's a narrow prohibition, but not like a sweeping restriction of it. Like I said, I feel like a lot of innovators are going to always come out with something new. So it would be more so prohibiting the the government or the law enforcement to use it against you. Um, I think short-term fear is kind of outweighed by the long-term gains of it. According to Brookings, they reported that regulation can increase investor confidence by providing legal clarity. When businesses know that, if they know that what's allowed and what's not allowed, they invest a little smarter. Meaning, if certain people that make AI, certain investors that, create certain platforms for it. if they knew kind of what they were creating it for, rather than just creating it just because, if they knew certain regulations or laws on it, then they would be smarter about the use of it, if that makes sense. I also think that unchecked facial recognition carries its own legal and financial risks, like lawsuits, bad PR, public backlash, and it's all created at a cost. It There's like a privacy violation with it all, and creators or investors have certain uncertainties, and a lot of it is unregulated, especially dealing with like the facial recognition aspect of it. A lot of it is unregulated, and there's not enough laws um, for anyone to have protection or safety on it. Um, I think the regulations improve consumers' trust. It also improves economic research for it. And I think it shows like a legal and ethical guideline for consumers or buyers um, to be able to want to adopt these new technologies and to be a little more trusting in these technologies. Uh, if you can trust something, then you're going to want it to grow, and you're going to want to grow with it and learn more about it. But if there's just not any trust and we're using these technologies to go against society, then no one's really going to want to move forward with creating more and growing it in a bigger aspect.
Okay, great. And thank you for saying that because you're helping me prove my point with the reform. Because according to RNZ in 2024, they actually start making FTR better and less biased. Again, like I said before, it happens to be less than 0.02% of facial recognition misuse and them being biased towards black and brown people. So again, the reform is getting a lot better and we still know what's going on. And the reform is making us be able to trust them more. And like I said, the biases, they're getting rid of them. So it's helping us more. New Orleans and LA had to bring their facial recognition back because without it, it was just mad chaos everywhere. And again, if I run a light and you don't know who I am, I'm probably going to run the next light as well. So if we get rid of it completely, I feel like we'll go back into anarchy even more so than what we are now. So reform is the way.
Okay. I think we hit all of our times. I'm going to stop the recording.
Right.